Hello, this is Catherine Dubberly, the Answer Lady. I'm a big fan of Kiss Looms. I greatly enjoy mine, and I am cooperating with Kelly at Kiss Looms to make you a playlist of all the basic techniques that you might ever want to know on all of the looms. So welcome and enjoy.
Let's make a cable on the Kiss loom. I'm going to do it on these 6 stitches. The beginning and ending, stitch number 1 and stitch number 6, are only involved in that they are the purl stitches that set the cable apart from the rest of the knitting. These 4 middle stitches are the ones that will be crossed. 2 over 2, right over left is what I'm doing. If you cross right over left, you can't quite see in there yet, but what you're going to get is a cable that appears to twist to the left, as though the ropes were twisting over each other to the left. Like this one in the hand knitting book. This particular book I really like, the Field Guide to Knitting, and it just calls these regular cables or large cables, depending on how many stitches are involved. Another book I really have enjoyed is the Reader's Digest Complete Guide to Knitting, well, to Complete Guide to Needlework, and this is the knitting section. And they describe the cables like that as cabled ropes. And the spiral that it looks like is 2 twisted ropes together. Of course, it's really not. So let's get these out of the way. And remember that when you cross right over left, it's going to appear to make a cable that twists in the left-hand direction. I've already purled this stitch. Now when I want to cross these, it's going to create significant stress on them, and this yarn doesn't stretch very much. So I've already determined that my best bet is going to be to E-wrap these stitches, although the remainder of the knitting is done in the U-wrap that we usually do for knit stitches on this loom. So now I've got 4 stitches that are looser than usual. The left ones are going to be crossed second, so I'm going to lift them out of the way and just hang them on the nearest adjacent peg. And as I lift each of these stitches, I am allowing the E-wrap to untwist. Let me do it real slowly before I put it where I want it to go. That gives it a little bit more yarn and reduces the stress on the knitting. So now I've made my right over left cross, meaning that the stitches that began on the right are now on the pegs on the left. I stacked the left-hand stitches up in order so that now I can move them one at a time to the pegs on the right. And my cable cross is done for this row. And I'm going to purl that stitch, then I'll knit on around for several rows until it's time for the next cross. I believe I decided to cross this one every 4th row. So I will see you in a minute after I've knitted around, and we'll do one more to make sure you've got it. I've knitted around, and now it's time to work the 6 cable stitches again, but this is not a crossing row. So we will just knit them normally. That one's to be purled. These 4 are to be knitted with the plain U-stitch. And the next one over is to be purled. Again, the purl stitches create a depth difference that sets apart the cable with more drama than it would otherwise have. So that's the cable stitches for this row. No fancy action. And I'm going to knit 2 more rows like that, and then on the 4th row we'll cross again. Alright, I'm back around to the cable, having knitted around for 3 rows with the normal U-knit stitch, except for these 2 pegs on which we're knitting purl stitches. And we will purl this one and E-wrap the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and when we get around the corner we'll purl the next one. Now remember, I'm crossing right over left, meaning that I'll lift these 2 stitches and put them on the left pegs, then take these 2 stitches and put them on the right pegs. and this will create a left twisting cable or rope look. If you wanted a right twisting cable or rope, you'd lift the left stitches first and cross them to the right. In most cases, it doesn't matter which you choose, but it does matter very much that you be consistent. Otherwise, it does not look like a rope twisting around itself. Let me rescue this stitch that just popped off because I was overzealous. There we go. Okay, ready to move. Remembering to allow them to unwrap. Those E-wraps were specifically put in there to give us a little bit of extra length to reduce the strain on the yarn when we cross. There, those two right stitches are now on the left, and there come the left stitches to the right. And we will purl this stitch, and that cable cross is done for 4 more rows. And here we are after a little bit more knitting has been accomplished. You can really see the cable forming up now.